naturally, the Meg tried to spin her downgraded Netflix deal, the big fail of her one saving grace, her last hope to have something she's tried worked out. She tried to spin it in the media into a positive narrative that they've extended their partnership. Nope, not so fast. That's not really what happened at all. Today, I have the scoop on the whole Meet Me at the Lake adaptation, which has been completely missed by mainstream media, and this whole Netflix deal nonsense. I did get sick right when this news broke, so I hadn't been able to film it for a long time. So I'm sorry it's a little bit behind, but there's still good juice here that nobody else I have seen pick up on with the Meet Me at the Lake thing. So be sure to stay tuned when we get to that part. After a couple of solid weeks of negative press surrounding Harry and Meghan's Netflix deal ending, saying that the executives had no appetite for anything new from the couple, because duh, why would they? We heard it straight from the Netflix sources. They were not interested in renewing the deal, and they weren't really interested in extending the contract. This has not changed. Having a first look deal is basically just being like, we still get first dibs on you because of everything we've done for you the last 5 years. But at this time, we're not really interested in much more. So nothing has changed from that, actually, in reality. Weeks ago, I put out this video detailing this arrangement that Netflix was going to retain a first look contract with the Sussexes, giving them a safety net, so to speak, so that if the Sussexes ever, by some stroke of luck, had a good idea, or they wanted to do another ill-advised interview style special, Netflix gets dibs on it. But they won't put up any more money at this point, unless they pick up something that the Sussexes have pitched and they agree to help it happen, which isn't terribly likely. This also allows the executives and Netflix to save a bit of face, along with the Sussexes, unlike Spotify, who were so exasperated, frustrated, and turned off by Harold and the Meg that they happily blew up the bridge. Everyone knows Netflix is really just interested in recouping some of their investment and being able to cop any big scoops, like a divorce interview, for example, or something that can really draw viewership away from their competitors. That's what this is really about for Netflix. But once that contract was signed, the first look deal, Meg issued a statement to the press about it and tried, but failed, to reframe it as an extension of the partnership, essentially trying to make it sound better than it is. And the media ran with it, as gullible as they are, and as frustrating and disappointing as that is, even though nothing had changed from the week's prior reporting. Regardless, along with her statement, she said that they've agreed to a With Love Meghan holiday special, and Meet Me at the Lake is still in the pipeline, which we're talking about in a moment. Stay tuned. As many of you rightly pointed out, the holiday special seems like yet another opportunity for Meghan to try to compete with Catherine the Princess of Wales's Together at Christmas concert, which is futile. It won't compete. And no one wants more Meghan, especially not during the holidays. But sources have revealed that this is directly tied to trying to salvage some of the investment in the As Ever sales, which have plummeted. They are not performing well, and they are not following the trajectory of growth that they thought they did because, as I said, that was a false precedent. They think that around the holidays, a tiny number of fans will be inclined to buy some of her overpriced, lackluster goods as holiday gifts, and so a holiday special as a one-off episode could support that goal. And Meghan alluded to this. She hinted at this in the Bloomberg interview. She said, especially as gifts. These things could be great as gifts. She literally said that. So it's clear that that is the goal here. But it is unclear whether this holiday special was filmed at the same time as last year, as last summer's batch of season 1, season 2. Whether they filmed a holiday special at the same time. I have a feeling they might have, because the outfits that Meghan wore for the season 2 episodes look a lot more fall Christmassy. She wore some more reds and whatnot, like burgundy. That was the closest she got to color, was like burgundy at one point. So it's unclear if this was filmed at the same time and they already had the holiday special, or if it's something new that they're going to film like now. I really don't think there's a lot of faith in Meghan being able to accomplish it in that time frame. It took her over 6 months to get the first batch of episodes out, and a total of 13 months to get the second batch of episodes to drop. So a 2 to 3 month turnaround for a holiday special seems out of her capabilities. I wouldn't be surprised to hear that it was filmed last summer and part of the original batch of episodes, because that would mean that Netflix had already filmed it, they already had the footage, they already sort of grandfathered it into the old contract, the old deal that is now expired, and that's why it's already on the schedule for this holiday season. It's not a new order from Netflix to get the holiday special, but that is unconfirmed at the time of filming this. Setting all that aside, let me share with you what I have learned about the Meet Me at the Lake film adaptation of the book, because that's the only other thing that Netflix and the Sussexes have on the schedule as of right now confirmed, besides one short little video that Harry probably is another grandfathered in project. And when I say grandfathered in, I mean anything that was made under the umbrella of the first deal, that first 5-year deal, anything that was initiated during that time still has to come to completion. The new contract is for anything made or picked up new and fresh from that date forward. The way that Meghan worded it to the press, you would think that Meet Me at the Lake film is a new order under the new deal. But it's not, you guys. This project was initiated in August 2023. So it too was grandfathered into the old deal. Basically, all content they began during that 5-year deal the one that has just ended, is still required to come forth and see through till completion. But it's being fulfilled through that past obligation. It's as if you've already been paid for the job, you just have to finish the job. It's not a new contract, it's not a new deal, it's not new money being pumped into a project that was part of the old deal. And it's not anything newly greenlit under the new deal, but the way Meghan worded it, you would think, wow, that first look deal already has a film picked up. No, it doesn't count as that. There are no projects picked up under the new deal at this point in time. All the projects Meghan was mentioning and referencing were part of the old deal. So here's the history on this Meet Me at the Lake project. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, through Archwell Productions, own the film rights to Carly Fortune's novel Meet Me at the Lake. They are working with Netflix to adapt the book into a film. In August 2023, through Archwell Productions, they acquired the film rights. The author confirmed the news on August 7, 2023. They intend to adapt the book into a film for Netflix. Netflix paid about $3 million for the rights for Archwell to acquire it. The book's themes appealed to the couple, leading to its selection for their first Netflix adaptation. However, there have been no public updates on the project as of August 2025, with no announcements regarding a director, screenwriter, or cast. Reports and rumors suggest the project may be stalled or canceled. Some reports indicate the Netflix deal was for 2 years, possibly expiring in early 2025 if no progress occurred, but we haven't heard any updates on that. Carly Fortune recently signed a new deal with Amazon MGM Studios for another book adaptation, which some view as a sign of Archwell's lack of progress on Meet Me at the Lake. It could have been that Carly Fortune's deal with Archwell had a 2-year window where she couldn't sign any new deals for any new books, so they had a 2-year chunk of time to try to get it out, so there wasn't competition or something like that, but that expired, so now she's also working with MGM Amazon. But you may be wondering, if Netflix paid the $3 million for the rights to this, how is Archwell the one owning the rights to the movie, the film adaptation? Netflix paying for the rights while Archwell owns them can be understood through the structure of their partnership and the nuances of intellectual property in the entertainment industry. Archwell, as the producer, Archwell Productions, is the production company that intends to adapt the novel into a film. This means they are responsible for the creative and logistical aspects of bringing the story to the screen. Things like hiring a director, a screenwriter, and cast fall under these responsibilities. But Netflix, as the distributor and the streaming platform that's going to distribute the film, will likely provide the funding necessary for the production, including the acquisition of the rights to adapt the book. While news reports state that Archwell bought or acquired the rights, it's more accurate to consider it as a licensing agreement. Netflix financing the project and securing exclusive rights to distribute the film globally on its platform for a certain period of time. and Archwell as the producer holding the rights to create the adaptation and in collaboration with Netflix will bring it to fruition. Therefore, it's a collaborative arrangement where Netflix finances the project and secures exclusive streaming rights, while Archwell Production manages the creative and production process of adapting the novel into a film. So there's no surprise that Meghan's statement on the failure to actually extend her Netflix deal, losing out and being downgraded to a first look deal, was misleading. But what it really means for the Sussexes is that they will likely, under most circumstances, be responsible for costs of production through Archwell for projects that they don't greenlight with Netflix ahead of time and have Netflix on as an enthusiastic and willing partner. And even if Netflix does sign on, they will be given limited investment from Netflix. $3 million to produce a film is not a lot. That is really not enough to make a quality movie. So it's just a sign of Netflix being unwilling to put up any more cash and pump any more cash into the Sussexes without it being very clear and results driven. And each project with its own set of rules and stipulations, Netflix is able then to control just how much cash, if any, that they give to the Sussexes to accomplish a project, and set terms regarding creative control, for example, or budgeting. Netflix will be able to negotiate and exert more control and power over projects going forward with this type of a deal. On the other hand, Archwell can totally pour all their own money into a project and bring a completed project to Netflix to offer to them to stream. But in that approach, they would risk being rejected by Netflix and wasting their funds if they cannot find anybody to pick it up. So leave it in the comments whether you think we will ever see Meet Me at the Lake film make it into production, because so far there's been no progress and the hopes are slim that it will ever actually make it there. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a happy day ahead, and I will see you next time. Bye!